Hey y'all. Hey, 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 hey. Everything is gonna be all right. What's up, y'all? Come on, share this on your social medias. Come on, share.
We do not own the rights to this music.
This is all PJ Morton. Listen, share this with on your platforms. Yeah, listen. Everything is going to be all right. Welcome to Coffee and Conversations, as we are digging and dealing with issues from all perspectives. So thank you for watching and tuning in and hopping on with us tonight. Tonight is part 2 of all male panel perspective, and we are going to dig into it. I got some fellas back with me from last week. I got a pitch hitter for this week. One of my pitch hitter friends is here, and so I'm going to bring them all on. Let me introduce my covenant brother, my friend, my little brother, Pastor Greg Gainey. He is the pastor of Forward Ministries. He is a preacher par excellence, the father of 7, husband of 1, and a great provider, a great man all the way around. I'm proud to have him as my little brother. Welcome, Pastor Gainey.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Happy to be back.
Thank you, my brother. I got another hitter today. He's becoming a regular. My man, Daryl, he's my fraternity brother. He is a brother in Christ. Great all-around guy. He is with us tonight. We thank God for brother Daryl Green, who's with us. And my older brother is here. My man, 100 grand since 1999. We dated ourselves, Eric. We dated ourselves to have my friend and my older brother. He's actually Greg's younger brother, but I knew him best. Greg knows him longest, but I've known him best.
Man, thank you for the invite, man. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on.
Absolutely, I appreciate you being here, and none other than bring my man in. So listen, last week I had an older gentleman, and now I got a younger brother in. My man, Phil Gardner. Phil is a maintenance director. Ladies, he got him a good job, and he know how to fix appliances. He know how to he know how to put some stuff together. He is a young gun, but he's doing his thing. I'm so proud of him. He's become my little brother. He calls me his big brother, and I'm appreciative of him. And so Phil and I have been talking all week long, and I said Phil has got great perspectives from a brother who's just turned 30. And so there's some younger ladies out here who want to hear it from a younger man. And I said, what better thing to bring on a brother who's in his early 30s, the pinnacle of life, got all the energy in the world, and has the career to go with it. So I appreciate all of you all being on. Welcome, Phil.
Appreciate you for having me, brother. I look forward to the convo.
Absolutely. Well, everything we do, we open with prayer because we believe that prayer still changes things. We believe that prayer still changes things. Let's pray. Father, we thank you because you've given us life, health, and strength. Thank you that no matter what the situation or circumstances, you are still good, you're still great, and still greatly to be praised. Now, God, let somebody's life be impacted for the better. Let understanding happen. Let situation change. Let you get the glory even in this. We give thanks in everything because it's the will that we give thanks to you for everything that we do. And we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Listen, all right, gentlemen, I'm grateful. My other brother will be joining us shortly, but I'm grateful for all of you all who are on. Last week we had some good conversation. We had some great conversation about the male perspective, and all week long I've been hearing comments and concerns from sisters saying, "Oh, well, we got more questions. We got more questions. We got more questions." And so I'm gonna start firing them off. And this time, since we got a young gun in here, I'm gonna shoot him off at the young gun first. I'm gonna hit Phil with the first one.
Hey, take it easy on him, young boy.
No, I mean he want to be a part. He gonna have to jump in and get his feet wet. And let's get into it. So Phil, last week I know you had to watch it, to kind of be involved in it. When you are looking for a woman to be with, you're looking for a woman that's going to add to your life. What are some qualities that you're looking for in a woman?
I would say the main thing I'm looking for is a teammate, especially at this stage in my life, like somebody who could balance me out. Um, Someone who's comfortable with walking beside me, not necessarily behind me. Um, that's probably the two top things that I'm looking for. It's a difference between, being in a relationship with someone who, is not a good teammate.
Right.
That could definitely affect, the operation as a whole.
What's a thing that makes you say, nah, Shorty, you ain't the one? Say what you
Too
want.
needy. You too needy. You can't be too needy. That's a big thing. I don't do too needy, and that's just a personal preference. You gotta be able to. You gotta have a job. I mean, even if you don't have a job, you gotta show that you are working towards something. Someone who's not about nothing, I can't rock with that.
Clarify what you mean by too needy.
I'm sorry?
What do you mean by too needy?
Too needy?
Mm-hmm.
Too needy, like, it's a situation like, a lot of women, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of women, especially nowadays, they want guys to adhere to old time rules. For example, you want us to pay for everything. You want us to handle everything. You want us to do everything. I'm not with that. As a 21st century, it's a change in the culture. Women have, stepped up in this world, and are stepping in the place where they really should have been all along. In a lot of positions of leadership, things are becoming more equal in the workplace as far as pay. It's still discrepancy, but things are changing, and that's why I go back to being a teammate.
Okay,
Someone who could not just take from me. You feel me? Who could also add. I got to be able to benefit. I feel like every relationship, no matter what it is, you should find some type of benefit in it. What's love got to do with it, right?
Okay, so let me hit it. Okay, cool. I like your I understand your perspective. Let me hit, because my other brothers are making a lot of faces. So I'm gonna go with Ag first, because Ag made the first.
Hey man, listen. Okay. No, that's cool, man. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we all hear you.
All right, cool. Now I was saying, no, that's cool. Man, I used to think like that too back in the day, and then I got with a woman who actually showed me different. A woman who was really about the things that I'm saying I needed. I didn't even know I needed them. And the cool thing was, man, women, you said you're not down for a woman that's not gonna hold you down and all that stuff. And I think you said something about not being able to pay or something like that.
That's relative. When I say pay, I mean it's a situation where, say, if you're not, everyone can get knocked down, right? Sometimes people can be without a job, things and life happens, right? But like I was saying, you got to be working towards something, in my opinion. You can't just be laying around not doing nothing, expecting me to do everything. I pay the bills.
And I hear you, bro. Listen, man, it's funny, man, because I used to have some of those same concepts, right? But I kind of had to realize, man, it really truly is a 50-50 thing. You know what I'm saying? And in order to make it work, it has to be 50-50, right? Where I'm weak, she has to be strong, and where I'm strong, she doesn't have to be weak. She can be strong too. And I think the issue is sometimes we're both strong in one area, and it is that tug of war. Like, I'm stronger than you, no, you're stronger than me type deal. And if instead of fighting each other, we can just go ahead and be strong together and move forward, right? And I think that's I think that I'm getting a little sidetracked, but I think that's you know where the consternation comes in. But man, listen, I think you'll find it.
Eric, so let me do this. So I want us to hear his perspective.
Yeah.
I don't want us to try to correct his perspective.
I'm not at all.
I'm saying that for a reason. Here's what I'm saying that, and this is and I'm playing the advocate and saying that because there are a lot of people, male and female, who think just like he thinks. So our standpoint, you and I may see things differently than what he sees it at. Where he's at 30, he was like, "Shorty, you got to come to the table with something. You got to be able to,
No, listen, bro.
Exactly.
That's
exactly how I feel 100%. Like, you got to be able to bring something to the table. And that's what I would. If I had a daughter, I got 2 sons. If I had a daughter, that's what I would teach my daughter. Like, if you're gonna deal with somebody, at least pick somebody that's bringing something to the table in some shape, form, or fashion.
I think you're right. I mean, in that aspect, women been teaching other women, hey, make sure that when you get with somebody, he can, take care of you, this, that, and the other. And I think a lot of times we don't do enough justice as men to say, look, man, when you get with a woman, make sure she can do A, B, and C as well too. And it's not a cookie cutter thing. I think it's just what you need at that time. I think that's my perspective, right? I think if I'm agreeing with you, but I just feel like this, man. When you get with a woman, just make sure that she's what you need and not what everybody else says that you should do.
So here's the thing. Go ahead. Can you say something?
I wouldn't say that. I agree that relationship and I feel like relationship and marriage and all is a 50-50. I don't feel like it's wrong to think that a woman should bring something to the table. Everybody should be bringing something to the table.
No, I never said that. No, I think no.
I was agreeing with what Phil was saying. I wasn't disagreeing with you, Eric. I'm gonna stick with that right now. Let's just stick there. I hope
I didn't confuse that. No, what I'm saying is I think everybody should bring something to the table, but I used to say a woman should do A, B, and C, and some of the stuff that he was saying, I was saying that I agreed on. So let me clarify my point. Back in the day, I used to agree on what he was saying. All I'm saying is now, yes, I do believe that both a woman and a man should both bring things to the table before you sit down. That's both saying.
I understand that, Greg. And then I got some people got some comments and statements we're gonna go through. Greg, what you think?
So when I was looking for a woman, what was I looking for? I needed somebody that was creative. I needed somebody that was kind of a free spirit. Of course, looks, right? I needed to be attracted to her.
Yes.
I wanted somebody that was smart and funny. So I had like not a list, but my eyes were open,
So what I'm hearing is, and I want to go to Daryl with this next one. What I'm hearing is, could it be what you wanted at one time could have evolved and changed and matured to something that you wanted different later on? Then okay, so for me, I wanted the baddie. When I was Phil age, all she had to do was be fine. In my eyes. I did. I got a baddie. Sure, you fine, girl. You fine as fun. But that's all I wanted was somebody who looked good on my arm. You ain't had to have nothing going for yourself. You could be a hood rat, but if you had a fat butt, that's what I was looking for. My taste matured after having some life experiences. Does that make sense?
Facts.
My thinking matured as I got older. Because I realized having that girl who was a round the way girl that nobody saw, having that situation where nobody was a part of, really wasn't the best thing for me. And so as I got older, I matured to a different way of thinking or a different perspective because at a different place I want something different in life. That being said, Daryl, I'm gonna go to you, and then we're gonna start hitting some questions. Daryl,
Yes, sir.
what you wanted at 30, do you still want in your 50s?
That's a yes and no. I was a little bit different at 30 years old. I was ready for the long-term commitment. I was ready for marriage, for family, and to get settled and all of that stuff. And pretty much in my mind, because my father set the model for us, he worked 2 and 3 jobs to make sure that he was the perfect provider. So in my head during that time, I wanted to be that perfect provider, and I worked 2 jobs to make sure that they had everything that they wanted. Now, there's a whole maturation process with all of that, because providing monetarily and with gifts is not the same as providing with your presence. And I realized that at some point my presence was needed a little bit more than those money and those different objects. So I kind of look for the same things. I look for the women to have some of the same values, but I also see things a little bit differently, where I like to have her participation a little bit more, not necessarily in one way or the other, but doing more things together instead of always wanting to be that driving force. As a young man, I wanted to be that driving force. I wanted to control everything. I want everything to go the way I thought it was supposed to be. But that's just not life, and that's just not the way life is lived, because everybody sees things differently. And once you get together with a woman, you have to be able to see things from her perspective also, and create a united front in which way your relationship is going.
Okay, so I hear these wonderful intellectual thoughts, which I am grateful for. Here's my question: How don't you gotta be attracted to her? Don't everybody
Oh,
say
absolutely.
everybody giving me these deep intellectual statements, which I appreciate. But fellas, let's keep it 100.
I'm keeping it
You
100.
gotta
One thing
be
you got to realize is
right?
this area is full
That's what I
of
said.
beautiful
I said
women
she
that
has
have
to be
shallow
attractive.
souls. So it takes more than just a good-looking woman with a fat tail and all of that. She got to have something going for her on the inside. And as you mature, you start looking for a little bit more than just that. What I'm saying is at 30 years old, I look for more than just that. It was different for me. I was a scholar athlete that did everything. I was a big time sports guy, and I was good in my academics too. So I had the best of both worlds.
Thanks.
So I got that out of my system early.
Right, but I'm okay, and I'm with that, and I appreciate that. But I'm saying, here's what I'm saying. We all want all the qualities in our women. We want all the qualities. At the same time, we do want somebody who we're attracted to, because before I see your intellect, I'm going to see your looks. Like, hey, before I approach you, well, before I would approach anybody, I ain't going nowhere.
Yo, hold up, Jay. I just looked at you just now when you like before I approached everybody. Yo, that's I don't know. Yeah.
I'm good. I did something real romantic over the weekend. I'm straight. I ain't got no problem.
Oh, yeah, shout out to you. That was dope.
Thank you. But I looked at the outward appearance before I saw the content. And years ago, and I'm gonna push this, years ago, before we approached somebody, we was like, all right, she's attractive. Nah, she could be smart as a whip. She can have all the qualities. We were friends on her real quick.
Yeah,
Right.
you find is if you always
Well, I mean,
looking
that's 100%.
if you're always looking at attraction, it's a bunch of attractive dummies out there.
A bunch of them. But you could train a dummy. I say I'm just moving. All right. All right, listen. So Linda said, is chivalry still dead? Let me rephrase that. Is chivalry still dead?
Is chivalry still there?
Is chivalry dead? I'm gonna ask Phil. I'm gonna go with Phil, the young guy in the room. Phil, do you still open doors? Is chivalry dead?
No,
You know you
chivalry
don't.
should not be dead. You should still open the doors for your woman. I mean, that's how I was raised though, so that's just how I came up. Open the doors. If it's cold, offer your jacket. I mean, but it sounds cliche, but that's really how I came up. So I don't think that is dead. I think it depends on how you brought up.
Lamont Harris. So let me move on. Brothers, are we still chivalrous? Are we still opening doors? Are we still pulling our chairs? Are we still doing all that?
Yes.
Yeah, man, I think so. I think it depends on what I think, I don't think it's nothing wrong with that at all. I think it's kind of cool, man. You know what I'm saying? When you go out and you open up your door for your lady, she looking nice. You know what I'm saying? There's just something about it. It's kind of dope.
So what you saying is, if I got my hand in the bun like this and I got on sweats, I'm supposed to, you know,
You open your own car door.
We got to click for that.
Club, you open your own car door.
I'm just,
Nah, I don't allow women.
now I'm just messing with
What you say, Darryl?
I don't allow women to open car doors or to open doors and all of that. We even to put their own jackets and stuff on. That's just not permitted for me. That's just the way that I was raised. So that's what I do. Not just with my woman, but with all women that I'm with.
Okay.
All right, Pimp. There go.
Right.
All right, Lamar.
Wait. Can I ask a question though?
Sure.
What about this? What about let me ask this. This sounds like I want to ask this question to Kenise. So my wife and I have this ongoing debate where sometimes I'll open up the door, right? And like, do you think women should reach over and open up the door, like push the door out? You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes I used to do that a lot. I used to, like, every time he would open the door and let me in the car, I used to. Then it kind of fell off because the car started getting wider. You got to reach a little farther. But yeah, I mean. But
that's so chivalry, right? And then last time we talked about 50, right? So here's my thing. You know what I mean? So I guess it's not chivalry to men. So what does that call for women when they do the stuff for men? It's not chivalry. It's not chivalrous. I guess what's the feminine thing to that? Is that nurture and care? What is
being polite?
It's being polite. Okay.
Sisters, if he open the door for you, lean over and open the door for him. It's taking care of each other. It's a care for each other.
Now, if the temperature is like 75 outside, you all right. I ain't got rushed over. Open your door.
You take it off the panel. All right. So Lamar Harris said, "I've been here 3 times and haven't said it. I made the mistake of looking for a spouse who was a good fit for my ministry and church. I picked the church girl, and the church girl wasn't what I needed. Now 5 months into separation, after being married for 5 years. Wow. So let's deal with that. What do you do when you pick the wrong one?
Wow.
So let me start with this. And does people's opinion of your relationship matter? Because I think a lot of times we get stuck on public opinion and not really deal with stuff for us.
So you say your question is, what do you do when you pick the wrong one? And then you said is people opinion. So that's a twofold question type deal.
Right.
All right. So what do you do when you pick the wrong one? Man, I guess, you know what I'm saying? I guess that depends on how long, how deep into the relationship you are, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if you are, if it's something that you can recognize, I think a lot of times, man, we don't really recognize it. We don't really recognize when it's the wrong one. Like I think in that aspect, you kind of lean to your brothers. I would say, yo, hey Money, hey Jamie, look, yo, what you think? I'm during those times, you know how we got though. When you brought Kenise, you was like, yo, I like it, man. You know what I'm saying? You know how that was. And then at that point, you gotta have real friends behind you to say, like, nah, yo, that ain't the one. And then you gotta do your part and listen to them. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of times, like I said last week, we ignore a lot of stuff. We ignore a lot. Love make you blind, man. Love make you not be able to see a lot of stuff. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying, you gotta listen to your outside, you know what I'm saying, I guess friends, if that they got your best interests at heart, you know what I'm saying, because you may not be able to see it in some aspects, right? A lot of aspects, you know what I'm saying, you can't listen to, but that's
when you get blinded by that big flag.
Right. You know what I mean?
And we all have been blinded by something. Like so my point about this is our friends have an aspect that we listen to in a relationship, trying to impress people who do it, and especially in church, trying to get the ones that church people think you should be with. Because I think all of us have had some kind of, oh, you should go out with Sister Jones. Oh, you should see this. Oh, come on, let me introduce you to my daughter, my niece, or my granddaughter. All of that kind of hook up and connection. Oh, y'all be so good together. Oh, you supposed to be a pastor. She ready to be a first lady. And so we make these connections kind of predicated on what people think we should do. Right. But it really ain't what's good for us.
Yo, but I guess to my point, man, like Jamie, honestly, dog, like if somebody was to say, Now, I ain't gonna use you because you know what I'm saying, you might, but if you had a homeboy for real, like legit, that's like really close to you, man, and you see that the person that he's with is detrimental to that person, their goals, their life, and it really down, like you're not gonna step up and say something to him, like, yo, man, you should really consider that. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the question: if my homeboy can handle that kind of conversation, because like I know, some guys are real funny about what you say about their women.
That's real too.
I mean, I've lost friendships. Come on, y'all. Let's keep it 100. You and women, y'all can chime in here too. That when y'all start talking about, oh, girl, he ain't no good, or I heard about him, or man, listen, shorty,
that's real.
Especially after you've had some kind of intimacy with that person, and there's that connection there. It's hard to be like, yo, yeah, bring you down, son.
Facts, yo.
That's not always.
Well, I want to offer my condolences, thoughts, and prayers to the brother who was going through separation. That's not easy, man. And I'll be praying for you. Hope you recover well from it. But I've had that happen. Not to me, but I've had that happen where I was like, yo, you sure you want to do this? You sure you want to jump out there and get married? I remember the wedding rehearsal, standing in the church, like, yo, you sure you want to do this? Like, you sure you want to go through with this? It's your last chance. And the relationship wound up not working out. And sometimes you can see it from the outside, but what do you do when it happens? Like, how do you bounce back from it? I just really would counsel with prayer. You know what I mean? Like, you have to know that first, seeing yourself too, like seeing if you had something to do with it, seeing if your character or if your issues had something to do with it, or if it was just that person, or if it just wasn't a good fit, and learn from it. Don't be hard on yourself about it, and just try to progress and get better. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. I mean, and then we got to be okay with it not being a good fit. Linda said,
sometimes you got to be okay with it not working.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Linda said, why do your friends and family get a vote about who you're with?
Your friends and family really
anybody wants to. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Daryl. What's you gonna say?
They don't really get a vote. They voice their opinion out of concern and out of care and love for you. Like you said, everybody's not able to handle that conversation. And if you see something that is detrimental to that relationship, then of course you as a friend or family member, I would expect for you to step forward and say something. But you have to be able to validate your points. You can't just say, well, I just feel this or I feel that, or it just doesn't seem like it's right. Give me something solid. Give me something that you've seen for yourself, where you can give me a prime example of why I shouldn't go further if you feel that strongly about it. Doesn't necessarily mean that anybody's going to take that opinion, but it can help you make the best decision for the both of you. Like you say, you do get blinded sometimes. You get too far in love or lust or both at the same time, and you start not thinking with the right head.
I agree with the brother.
I think it's something to be considered when you're choosing someone and no one likes this person, or no one can find any not good, but when everyone is like, hey,
right,
reconsider, like,
when you have trouble finding good qualities in that person,
right, there is no one that can connect with this person. I think it's really something to consider, and that's not to say that they may not be the person for you, but you really should consider, why is no one connecting with this person?
Right. Women have that conversation often, right? Don't they? Like, girl, he ain't, you know what I'm saying? And like,
sometimes, and then sometimes you have to know your friends. Like, you have to really know who you're talking to, because sometimes, just like, I think my mom. Just like my mom posted, you become a hater, or you just hate them.
Yeah, and that's real too. Like, it's hard. You got to really have a clear discernment who to listen to, not to listen to, because realistically, you have people who will say comments about them just because they unhappy.
Yeah, you guys. So discernment is real.
But don't you
To be able to discern.
don't you think that, like, you know too? Don't you think, like, the person? Don't you think you know? You think that people are, like, really legitimately blind to the fact that there was somebody that's not going to work?
I agree.
I think at some point you know.
Yeah, I feel like some people do know, but sometimes there's so many reasons why you might ignore the red flags, or
Right.
you might be desperate, you might be lonely,
Mm-hmm.
and you might have been alone for a very long time, and now I have somebody, and I don't want to let the person go because then I'm gonna be alone again. You know,
Right.
like
That's
it's so many.
That's the problem that I have. I have a problem when people like even in me or with my wife Danelle, like when you know something, if it's a relationship or not, you sometimes it's okay. It's okay that some things don't work. And you can be okay with it. It didn't work out. Trying to save it and then I've seen people almost ruin their life or ruin somebody else's life just for an image. Just for an image. Just to tell somebody that it worked, just to tell somebody that they were wrong about this. It's not worth it.
I think there's a way. I agree with both of you. I think there's a way to approach somebody and say, "Hey, man, hey, sis, this may not be the best avenue for you." But I'm gonna back my wife up on this. When you've been lonely, any kind of connection helps satisfy that loneliness. Especially now with all this COVID and being in the house and being by yourself and in quarantine. And so, I don't know why that OJ songs came to my mind. If you think you're lonely now, wait until the night.
Yeah.
Because the reality of it is, three out of the 5 of us who are on this live are going home to somebody. We could be beefing, but they in the house.
Yeah, but Jamie, I think sometimes as married people, we say we're married and we're going home to somebody. There's some people that choose to be single and they're okay with it. I don't think single has to be a cuss word.
Absolutely.
Like
it's not.
Yeah, but I don't. So in that regard, if you want to be single, if you know you're not ready, and here's the thing about single, you really are single until you get married. Like you can date, you can have fun, you can have friends, and all that with a purpose. It doesn't mean that because you're single, you have to all of a sudden just go try to find the person you're going to marry. Maybe you don't want to be married, or maybe you don't want to be married right now. I think the church gets it pretty judgmental and a little judgy when we start saying, "Oh, you have to be looking for somebody." Maybe you're not. Maybe you're just okay with being single. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think you hit a real good point that people tend to get confused sometimes. You're single until you get married.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot that could be said about that, because people nowadays don't really court. They fall into situationships. I won't even call them relationships because they haven't blossomed into that yet, where you can really call it a relationship. People just automatically jump in and, hey, I'm in this relationship, so I'm taken. Then you have false expectations because you haven't given yourself time enough to get to know each other in that relationship and what you really need from that relationship. So you already start off with conflict.
Facts.
That's interesting. Phil, what you think? You've been quiet for a minute.
Man, I'm just soaking in the knowledge, of my older brothers on the stream. I think that I'm not married, so I haven't gotten to that point in my life yet. I hope to get there eventually, but I do agree with the gentleman that stated that, sometimes some people are just, happy, being single, and are content with just waiting, I guess, the chance, to come across, someone who, that they're really feeling on that level. So And I don't think anyone should force anything either. You know, I feel like the whole concept of marriage uh has been pushed in a sense. And I think that might be one of the reasons why, you know, a lot of times marriage in our society now uh ends in divorce.
Wow.
I think people should take their time.
That's right.
I think people should play the long game.
Mhm.
And but that doesn't mean not be faithful, not work towards it. You know, it's almost like you want to practice for the real thing, right? You know, like no one goes out on Sunday. Tom Brady doesn't go out on Sunday, you know, balling. You know, he has to practice. You know, he has to go over technique.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, and that's you know what I think is akin to the dating process. You know, so there's a fine line between you know you're single until you're married, because you know, imagine telling a woman that you know, a woman that you're dating, you know,
Well,
I'm
I
single
think we
until
don't
I'm
give.
married.
I don't think we give them enough credit.
Yeah.
There are women that understand. Listen, women aren't desperate, man. Like people aren't desperate. They just want companionship. There's nothing wrong with wanting companionship, and they're not desperate. They just want companionship, and then you can be together but still single. You can be in a room surrounded with people and still feel alone. It's about compatibility. If
Married, they feel that way.
Say it again.
What happens when when you're dealing with someone who wants more? I mean, because that's a
So hear me out. All right. Y'all gotta forgive me. I had to run away from my kids, so I'm sitting locked in the closet, okay? Everybody saw me come in the house. I had to run and try to get away from them. All right, so listen, hear me out. When you are with somebody, it does not mean that you're compatible with that person. And you can be with that person and feel alone. You can be on a date or eating dinner with somebody. You can be even married to that person, and you have nowhere for your thoughts to go. You nowhere to get your creativity out or just speak the things that mean the most to you because you're not compatible. And that is not the same thing as being with somebody. There's a difference when you are compatible with somebody and you're with somebody, and then there's a difference when you're single. I think it's fair to come to the table, and everybody keeps talking about coming to this table. I think it's fair to come to the table with the truth. The first thing you come to the table with is not your looks, not with your money, not with anything but the truth. What are we here to do? What are you looking for? Are you looking for a long-term relationship? Are you looking for commitment? Are you dating? Are you happy being single? Those are the things that I wish we would say at the front so that we can know. And then you can move forward. After you do that, you get to know the person, you get to know what they're into, and then the dating becomes more intriguing because you start to find similarities. I really think that dating is a wonderful thing. I think being single is a wonderful thing, and I think courting is a wonderful thing. I think it's great, man.
So listen, let me push it a little further. Okay, I like Greg. Your response was spot on. You were eloquent in your conversation. Here's what I'm saying: people don't show you who they really are. You meet the representative. Most people. I'm not saying everybody, but most times.
You said at first, Jay?
People
at first, Jay? Or you said
people does not show you who they really are. You meet their representation.
He's saying at first.
That's first.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
On first impression. First impression, I was dating this girl. First impression, she got me because she fried some chicken, brought me to the house. The house was clean. She fried some chicken, was like, yeah, just me and you. We watched Scandal all the time together. Then we were laid up on the couch.
Be quiet. Look to your boy.
I can't look to my right or my left.
Listen, man, I've been trying to want them all show.
I ain't worried about it. I'm not worried about it. She told me.
Yeah, you're gonna be doing another date night. It's gonna be a rooftop date night.
Then I was like, "Oh, she cooking every." She's like, "Yeah, I cook every day."
No,
You like, I cook every day. I always cook. So I was like, oh, "Okay, cool. We're gonna be eating these home cooked meals. I ain't gotta go to my mama house no more. It's ready to be on and popping."
Oh man.
I'm grateful. Now, listen, I am happily married now, so ain't no problem. But she ain't cooking as much as she used to cook when we first got together. That's okay. I cook, boo. We in this together. Mwah. I love you. You're golden. But at the same time, like there was a different because we always want to put our best foot forward. And so, Greg, do I agree with what you're saying? Yes, but she met my representation too.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna say she met the representation. I was like, yeah, girl, you know what I mean? I'm always in the gym. Yeah. You know,
Hey, yo, can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
And it's to the fellas, Daryl, Money, and my man. What's your name, brother? I'm so sorry.
Phil.
But, you know, Phil too. You know what I'm saying? Jamie Kanice. Yo, is it a representative or is it the person that you want to be? You know what I'm saying? Like,
and the person you want to be is a representative. You
right?
want
sometimes, right? Like, yo, think about that. Like, a lot of times, like when you meet your wife or you meet that one, like, yo, she bring the best out of you. She be the person that you trying to be. Is that really a representative, or is that the person that you're trying to be? I don't know. I'm asking. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking.
I would say representative is who you think that person wants you to be.
I was just getting ready to say that. I was just getting ready to say that. I think it starts off that way.
Say it again.
I think it starts off that way with you trying to be who you think she wants you to be.
Right.
And then you try to turn that into the person that you may want to be. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that if you can just voice that and say, look, this is what I'm working to try to become.
Right.
This is what I think would be good for us in a relationship. You could do that.
Yeah.
People aren't going to do that.
Yeah.
People will not do that.
No
I
one,
think it's funny.
You get me from the beginning.
Right.
No one say, oh yeah, boo, I'm gonna stretch your back right now all the time later, because that's not really who I am right now.
I think in the beginning if we really like somebody, we don't want to push them away. You know, so we all got bad habits, so it's like you don't want to display those bad habits, that might, push that individual away from you that you really rocking with.
Yeah, I had this debate with somebody. That's a good, yo. I had this debate with somebody. You know what I'm saying? A couple weeks ago, actually, and I was wondering if your thoughts on that. That's all.
I mean, I think we meet the representation first. I think we really meet that representation for a minute. And Greg, I agree with you. 100% agree with you. If we were all to be honest and take off the mask and don't meet the representation and say, listen, I don't work out all the time. I'm working on getting my credit together. Hey, this is what I do.
But hold on. Let me just say, and I apologize if y'all hear my daughters knocking on the door behind me.
No, my daughter keep talking about she want a snack. So ain't no, you already she
okay.
I just want you to reach it real quick and you can come
right. So this is what I don't like. I don't like when people say that hiding the truth is good in the beginning of the relationship, right? Because I find that you have to be in a place where you're ready for the relationship, right? For me, I don't think that if you are looking for a serious relationship and you don't have the credit score you want, maybe you should pull back from dating and just go ahead and put that money towards your credit score and build you up. I think when you come to the table as who you really want to be, it gets easier for the person that you're with. They don't have to watch you go through the work. They don't have to suffer through that. And then you're coming already, complete or close to being whole. You know what I mean? Like that's what that time is for. Now, I got married super early. One day you'll have a couple show, and Danelle and I'll be able to tell our testimony about that.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna have that coming up. Don't worry about it. We're gonna have that coming up.
We got married super early, and some of the things that we had to endure, I'm going to make sure my children don't when they're looking for a spouse, because you want to be ready. You want to be ready. Right. It's okay in your 20s and about your career. It's okay to be in your 20s and have good credit scores. Like, it's just some things that you should come to the table with that'll make it easy for a relationship. If you at the table and some stuff not there, you need to get up, buddy.
Greg, you're gonna disagree with you.
I agree with that.
I'm like, I like it, but I don't know if I can keep all of it.
I like it. It sounds good. However, I don't know if that's realistic. If
I think it is.
In that, if we're dating, that's like saying, for me, in my opinion, that's like saying, I gotta wait till I stop smoking cigarettes to come to Christ. It's like,
No, that's two different things. That's two
it's my
different things.
opinion. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that, because
Okay.
in real relationships, you're always gonna have struggles. And not to say that you could come to this table and be broke down and beat down and struggling 100%. But if you're not all the way to where you want to be and you're still working on some things, I feel like anyone who's willing to work with you is worth being with. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
I do. Let me give redress to that. There's a difference from saying I'm working through some stuff, and there's the other side where you just not working at all. See,
right.
Don't tell me that it's hard to come with a plan or prepared or with the mindset of being with somebody. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna tell everybody that I do counseling with or anybody that's coming for information, I do not think that anybody should be trying to take somebody seriously when they're not taking themselves seriously. You don't have your priorities in check. I mean, it's kind of hard for somebody to take you seriously.
Right. And I agree.
You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying have it perfect or have everything right, but bruh,
Keep working. Right.
Be working at it.
Yeah.
Be working. Right, because how can we build and we ain't working at something? I got a couple. They got a lot of comments, and then we got to shift gears because I want to make sure.
I'm gonna go fill my coffee cup.
All right, so here it is. Nikki said, "I have the desire to be married. However, I don't want to be constant fear of losing my husband like I did with my daughter's father. I don't want to place him in the same category, so I allow myself to go." Be by myself, basically, and so that's hard. So we can't. It's basically living in a constant fear of losing somebody. Is that something that any of us deal with? Like, that's the anxiety piece. For me, I didn't live in my constant living in fear was not her Kenise dying, but my constant fear was like she leaving. And I think a lot of times, and I said this last week, but I'm gonna say it again this week. That we plan for an exit strategy and not a stay plan. And I think from a guy's standpoint, that can be sometimes problematic. That we plan to leave and not plan to stay. Is that something y'all ever dealt with?
You saying from a guy's perspective that
from a guy's perspective, have we ever planned to leave and not planning to stay? Like, all right, yeah, I'm with you, but if this go wrong, I got Shorty over here waiting. I'm with you, but if this goes down, I got, you know what I mean?
I think I know for me personally, man, and a lot of the men I know, man, we always try to prepare for when the bottom fall out on a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like worst case scenario type thing. And I think it's just fair, yo. I think it's just a fair thing. So you always try to be like, yo, look, the worst case scenario or the worst possible outcome of this, I'm going to prepare for. And I think we carry that over. I don't think it's no different. We just carry it over to relationships too.
Anybody else got comments, thoughts?
I kind of agree. Sometimes we set ourselves up already knowing in the beginning that it's not going to be successful, which is not the right way. Because if you plan for that failure, you're planning to fail. I don't think that you should prepare yourself for an exit strategy if you're looking for longevity. You're supposed to be putting that energy towards making things work, trying to figure out what the problems are and trying to hit them off before they become problems, keeping that communication open. But a lot of times, we have too many irons in the fire. You can't possibly say that you want a relationship to work if you still have all these other things on the side or these other people on the side. Then you're really looking towards failure because you're not putting your all into that relationship.
Last question I'm gonna go with on this subject, and we're gonna switch gears. Sometimes it's hard for me to be in a relationship. I have 3 personalities. I'm not sure who's going to start it.
Oh Lord.
So I'm gonna hit this one, and we're gonna hit this one real quick. Wanda Cofield said it.
Yes.
Hey, at least she honest.
So here's the question: have we ever dated that crazy girl that who we didn't know who we was gonna deal with?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push it. If anybody and don't if this your situation, blink twice.
Man, what you trying to do?
No, no.
Either-
If this is just a question, I'm not talking to you because you got to deal with it in your home. I think all of us fellas can be honest that we were in a relationship with the crazy girl. We dated the crazy girl. It was fun. It was fun at first. Till it got real crazy. And you ain't know who you were dealing with. And if my father was alive, he was like, that makes it even more interesting because you'll never know what kind of situation you're gonna walk into. But I think as you get older and as we mature, some things we were willing to deal with when we were in our 20s and in our Playboy days, or when you get older and you start trying to plan your life out, you be like, nah, yeah, I ain't got time. I ain't got time for that. Greg, keep the face straight.
Well, I'm just saying that, you know, crazy attract crazy. Y'all trying to be cool, act like y'all ain't got no crazy in you. Y'all been crazy before. We all been crazy before now.
I ain't nothing crazy about over here. This is perfectly normal.
No, I'm talking about you. You ain't never been crazy?
I have.
Oh, okay.
Love will make you do some insane. Love will make you do stuff that you never said you were going to do before.
Yo, I remember.
Boy,
When you open up, when you really show your vulnerability, and you really be like, yo, all right, I'm gonna give you my whole heart, and that thing work or that thing break, and you be sitting there looking outside playing some Boys to Men, darling, I can't explain. You out there,
Stomach hurt.
I make love to you like you talking real crazy.
I don't eat nothing all day,
Right.
Yeah, bro. When you ain't eat all week, you got some real hurt.
buddy.
When you know someone, you don't treat them bad. Oh, how I feel so sad.
The worst is when you can't sleep.
Right. You go, oh, my baby. Your boy, oh, come on, snap out of it. Yo, my girl. It's real. And
Yo, even now, even in this stage, right? Like, yo, you lay next to your wife, you ain't really quite on track, and she turned that back. You know what I mean? You sleep in different directions. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Your whole lips, where you at?
You know what I'm talking about.
Your whole soul hurt when y'all beefing.
Intentional.
Your whole soul hurt when y'all beefing. So let me say this to everybody's watching. Ladies, just like when you all are, here's how you can get a man to change. The silent treatment. We can argue about everything because you're still talking to me. You can call me everything but a child of God, but you're talking to me. But the moment you get quiet, we like, oh, are you hungry? No. How was your day? Good.
Right.
Like, oh, this is what we are.
Man.
You ready to go to bed? Yep. And you just roll over. You want to cut on? I don't feel like. Woo! It's gotten hard. So I think everybody, and this will mess me up. I think everybody is in a bipolar moment. You always going to have that because you never know. Some people that day may have been hard for each one of y'all, and so you got to be able to handle that crazy. And in a relationship, real relationship is like, I can I commit to your crazy? That's what marriage is. That's what relationship is. Can I commit to your crazy and still be in love with you during your crazy moments? And your crazy moment could be depression. Your crazy moment could be anxiety. Your crazy moment that you could be going through it. And all of us can go through it. But can you love me at my worst and bring the best out of me at my worst moment? And that's when you can tell if you've got a real mature relationship. I want to shift gears real quickly. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to talk about what's going on in our country. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about what's happening across our country. And it almost seems like every week we send another video of somebody of black and brown complexion being murdered in the streets like they're animals. I don't think anybody who's on our live video has not seen it. It's been on social media, CNN, everybody's covering it. And my heart is broken because the innate fear that even I get, and probably some of my brothers who are on here get, when you hear the police whoop whoop behind your head. You know, all of us are. I got 4 brothers on here who lives are clean. They doing what they gotta do, and it's still that fear and pit of the stomach, and then being taught that when the police come up to you, yes sir, no sir, tell them what you're doing, keep your hands at 10 and 2, don't make no sudden movements. Those are things, and if you look at my brother's faces, all of them are giving you that facial expression like, yeah, that's what we gotta deal with. And so I would be remiss if I didn't allow my brothers to tell them how to check how they felt about what's going on. I'm gonna start with Phil, the young guy in the group. I'm gonna start with Phil and let him just express what he's feeling about what's going on in our country.
It's sad. It's sad. It's tiring. You know, sometimes, you know, I don't know if you get numb to it, you know, but it's something that you know, me personally having experiences, you know, with police brutality, you know, myself, you know what I'm saying, they hit homes a little bit different than most people. And you know, it's definitely a sad state that we in. But at the end of the day, I think things like protesting, at least peacefully, is something that, you know, needs to stay there. You know, I think it's crazy to loot. I think it's crazy to riot. I think it's crazy to destroy your community. Um, on the other hand, you know, I understand that it's a, you know, it's built up and pent up frustration. You know, and sometimes it rears its head, you know, in the ugliest ways. You know.
Great.
But at the end of the day, you know, I just think it's a situation that we just need to, you know, band together, and we need to just keep in mind, you know, that while we're looking at, you know, other races and what's going on, you know, we need to preserve our own. You know, we need to take care of our own. Um, you know, it's almost like, you know, somebody say, you know, ain't nobody gonna love me like I love me. You know, no one can love us like we love us or respect us like how we can respect us, you know, and anybody, you know, you're not gonna respect somebody who don't respect themselves. You know, so I think we just need to start respecting ourselves more. I think we need to band together. I think we need to take care of ourselves more. I think we need to build each other up. Um, that's where I'm at on it.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. There's no excuse. There's no, and let me watch what I say as I continue to stay on as a pastor and as your friend, and I don't want to offend your platform, but I'm extremely upset.
I want you to say how you feel, brother.
I'm extremely upset, and I think that the thought that human life is as valuable as a target, it just gets me even more upset. So there are 2 or 3 or 4 things happening here, right? So I'm very upset that we keep finding ourselves in this situation. I'm upset that there has not been any legislation that will prevent this. And I'm at the point now where I don't want to march. I've done marches before. I've gone down to help with, well, I mean, the 3 of us on this platform, we saw each other down on Pennsylvania Avenue when it was here. 3 or 4 things. Say it again.
No, you are.
Oh, and so it just bothers me that that a life can be taken with no consequence. The consequence is getting fired. I don't. It's not the same when you talk about a community of people. Okay, it's just not the same. These are people. It's their job to protect and serve, but for some reason, Black and brown people are. I'm pissed, man.
Eric.
I think we all in the same boat, man. It's tiring. Every day you got to go out, and you don't know you know, like you said, you when you drive, you know, you get a ticket and you scared for more than one reason, right? Is the inconvenience to some people. Some people had that luxury to say, yo, I got a ticket, and it was just an inconvenience to them. But to us,
Mm-hmm.
it's more like, you know, hey man, that could have been my life. You know,
Never have to stop.
and it's that's the dichotomy of the two Americas, man. Like, yo, it's literally it's from somebody. What's an inconvenience to someone is a life. Is a threat to your life. It could be a threat to your life as a black man and a black woman in America, man. All of these names, bro. All of these names. You look at people like I don't know why, but Philando Castile, he stuck out with me. He resonated with me. I think it's because he followed the commands and the cops still shot him.
Did everything right, man.
And that still resonated with me, man. And I don't
Did everything right.
everything. And Philando Castile, he was alive when Trayvon got shot. You know what I'm saying? And when Mike Brown got shot, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was alive, and he probably said to himself, I don't want to be a hashtag. Just like all everybody on this panel said the same thing. Like, yo, I don't want to be a hashtag. I'm pretty sure that man said that, right? Mr. Floyd probably said the same thing. I don't want to be a hashtag. You know what I'm saying? And every day you out the house, in the back of your mind, I'm pretty sure, yo, for real, I always said, my man and my mama always taught me, say, black people really need some therapy, man. We got PTSD, seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like legitimately, man. My 5-year-old son came to me yesterday. We did not tell my son about anything that's going on. He must have heard my son Carson is extremely smart. He'll pick up on just different things. Maybe he overheard some. I don't know. He asked me, Daddy, are the police going to smash me? And it took everything in me. When things get hard, I always do my best Eric Gainey Sr. impersonation. So I had to do my best Eric Gainey Sr. impersonation, and I just talked to him. And why my son want to know if he's gonna be flattened, bro? Like that's
crazy.
I gotta have a conversation about that, like for real.
With 5-year-old.
At 5, you know?
No, and I'm serious, and man, I'm always nervous about me being out, and where we live at, in the community we live in, and what we have, and it's, that fear is there. That you want to achieve success in life, and you want to move your family to certain neighborhoods, and you want to be able to give them the best life possible. At the same time, you live in the fear of what happens if I get pulled up the car? What happens if my kid's in the car and they see me and I'm like, I can't breathe? And then not only that, but most of us, all of us got sons.
Come on, man.
I got a son who, first of all, I want to come home to my family. Second of all, I got to raise him in the fear that if you get pulled over, this is what you got to do. This will happen. And he ain't resist. He ain't resist. He just another brother gone. I want to give Dell an opportunity, and then I want to figure out what next steps we can do before we wrap up this evening. Daryl, I would be remiss if I didn't get nothing from you as a singing station.
I am completely outraged. Being a victim of certain events like that, fortunately, I still have my life, but I can talk to you about 2 specific instances where I thought my life was over. I was walking along the highway and 10 police cars pulled up, and they told me to get on the ground and put my hands behind my head for no reason, just because I was walking. So after they did their thing, they put the handcuffs on me and they had me sit down, and it's like 40 degrees outside. And they told me afterwards that they thought that I was a guy that they were looking for, who was 5'7" and 150 pounds. I'm 6'2", and at the time I was about 380 pounds. You want to tell me how I could look like I'm 5'10" and 150 pounds? And then when I went to homecoming, I got pulled over for a busted headlight, and then they told me they had a suspension on my license. I dealt with that. I just came from court the day before, so I had the papers in my car. I reached to get the papers, and about 8 police officers pulled their guns out on me. So when they decided to take me in, the police officer said, "Man, I am so glad but you didn't resist. When you got out of the car, we saw how big you were. I just knew you were going to resist and it was going to hurt, but you're really a nice guy. So I'm a nice guy because I didn't resist. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But this guy, one of the guys was so nervous, he just wanted to shoot me. You could see it in his face. So I was just having a conversation with my sons this evening about that. I have two boys who are in that age range. They're 19 and 23.
Mm.
I keep them as close to home as possible because I want to see them when I come home every day.
Man, brother.
You know,
Very,
it is really tough. And being here in the metropolitan area, you see it. The majority of these police departments out here don't look like us, and they don't really care. You ride past them, they gritting on you, they making faces at you, looking for a reason to pull you over.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. You're just a rolling target every time that you leave your house and get in your car.
that's real. That's something that, and so my sisters who are watching this and who are listening, we thank y'all for y'all support and the undergirding of us as black men. But there's a feeling that sisters, you'll never understand. That is a fear that black men deal with. That and Greg said, Eric said it, that we have that PTSD. We got that. It's real. It's a real fear. It's a real thing that we deal with. That as we are trying to obtain success, that we got to deal with what comes along with our community. The also thing I want to say this is going to be kind of controversial as we get ready to wrap up. We got to stop hurting each other too.
Facts, yo.
We can't just protest and Greg, Eric, we all were down there. Like you said, we can't just protest police brutality and we are killing ourselves. Baltimore City had 11 shootings on Sunday morning. 7 people ended up dead. On last week, I think it was Monday, Chicago had 500 shootings. 30 people ended up dead.
Yo,
we are slaying ourselves.
Yo, that's what I mean. Like, yo, are you gonna get killed by somebody black, or you gonna get killed from somebody that wear blue? You know what I'm saying? It's like you said, man. Yo, you said everything right. Yo, it's sad that you can't live in certain neighborhoods. I wish that we could live in certain neighborhoods and feel protected, man. But unfortunately, we're not going to. We know the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? My brother and I just lost a family member. You know what I'm saying? Due to some senseless crime. You know what I'm saying? I get that. And then at the same time, it's crazy, man. Like this, yo, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, man. If you can afford therapy, please take it. Because I promise you don't know what you're dealing with. And it can come out in every aspect of your life. And I'm serious, man.
I think it's really cool to have that conversation. I have to defer because, of course, not to be a contrarian, I think crime happens in its community. So black people living with black people, you're going to have black on black crime. Europeans living with Europeans, they're going to have European on European crime. But it's a different conversation or narrative to couple somebody in the community killing another person in the community. I think it's reckless in comparison to someone that is placed in a community to protect that person or those people. It's not the same.
Greg, it's not the same, but it's both of it's senseless. I'm not saying that it's the same. I totally agree that it's totally different. It hit differently when there's somebody who's supposed to protect and serve you. They're put to protect and serve you. But I'm saying that as a community, we have to stand up for the injustice on both ends. We are losing our life by our own hands, and we're losing our life by the hands of other people. And I just don't want to protest one and sweep the other under the rug. I want to protest both. I think we got to stand for injustice on both places. Because I don't want to see one of my sisters or my kids get slain in the street by somebody who looks like us either. I don't want the police putting their foot in the back of my neck and I can't breathe and I don't come home to see my children. I don't want to walk down the street and somebody have an attitude because what I got on and shoot me for what I got on.
Right.
So I think all of it plays a part of being a black man in today's society. It's a reality that we deal with. And I think we got to start having real conversations, and real dialogue, and real plans to how to tackle and change the community. I don't want to march anymore and don't have anything after the march.
I just want to say, as a black woman, um, don't know the stress and the anxiety that you guys go through day to day, but we do deal with our own loving black men. Um, like me, I have a black husband that I send out the house every day. I have a black son who lives in the city, where I'm afraid for him for the police, and I'm afraid for him for the neighborhood. And then I have a black baby boy who I fear for his. How is this gonna? What's gonna change so that he won't have to deal with what's happening now? Is it going to change? Is he still going to have to deal with the injustices? Is he still going to have to? Am I still going to be fearful for his life? So you're right, Eric. We all need counseling. Like we need to see and talk to somebody. We need to lay on somebody's couch. We need to go and talk to somebody. I was watching I've been watching CNN all day, which is probably not good for me. Good. But there was, and that actually wasn't CNN. That was there was a white lady who was talking about it, and she talked about how she usually doesn't comment about these things, and she is usually the one that doesn't see color, and all life matter, and all of this and all of that. But she said that no one understands at this point. Nothing is going to change until her white brothers and sisters stand for what's right.
That's exactly the same thing that happened in the 60s. You're correct.
She said that whenever there's a Muslim terrorist attack, she says, "Oh well, the Muslims need to outcast those Muslims if if they're real Muslims or whatever."
That's right.
Crazy. At this point, something we can't. Martin is not doing anything.
You can't win a world war without allies, bro. You can't. You cannot win a world war without allies, and that's what we're fighting. Like everybody want to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're fighting a war.
It's a war.
So and you cannot win a world war. Like every world war that was won, you had an allied nations. You need allies that's really for you, man. You have to. And I think another thing that we need to do as black people, for real, don't ignore it, but take a break from it, right? I think watching CNN all day is not good for your health. Watching those videos all day is not good for your health, because we have to still live in it. We have to still be present in the world. Take a break from it, man. Like you have to take a break from it. I'm not saying drop it at all. It's the last thing I'm saying. But what I am saying is take a break to it, come back to it, and then attack it. You gotta be refreshed, because you can't fight if you're bogged down and just weary. You gotta take a break.
And I agree with that. And we're gonna end up in a minute. But here's another part about we still have to survive and thrive in that life. So if everything we're watching is upsetting us and triggering us, how then do we actually have a real conversation with our brothers and sisters, our different complexions and cultures, if we're so angry we don't know how to articulate how we feel?
No, we don't have conversations. I think that's what my difference is. I'm past the conversations. I don't think that we always have to be the one teaching. You can see it. You can see it. You can see it. Okay, so if I stop watching it, they need to start watching it. If I stop having the conversation, they need to start having the conversation. I don't think that it's at conversation level anymore. It has to be consequences, and it has to be something that says, okay, if you do this, this is what this means. And that's why people lose. It's not about, that's why some people lose. That there just needs to be a consequence. Some people feel like, okay, you're going to take this, I'm going to take that. Now, of course, there's some people that's just taking advantage of it. And I'm by no right defending looting. I'm just saying that people want action. And if this chaos is going to be the action or consequence that that we're going to get. I don't know, bro. I really don't know what it's going to take for people to wake up and actually see that brown and black people are some of the most hated people, not only in America but in the world, man. There are people in the
what you said I don't know, and I feel like that's key. We don't know. I feel like we've been chasing our tails, you know, since we've been in this country. I mean, it's the same thing. What do? We'll riot, or we'll protest, we'll riot, we'll get upset, things that die down, something else happens. We protest, we riot, we get upset, we're enraged, we're sickened, we're tired, things die down, something else happens. It's like when is enough is enough. It's a cycle.
So we really got to start, and I'm going to say this, we really got to start with our power to vote. In our local elections, in our state elections.
And hold them accountable.
But put people in office who have our best interest at heart.
Right.
To legislate on our behalf. To go make laws that will benefit us. But the problem that we have is African Americans have the lowest voter turnout and want the most things. We don't go to the table. We don't do what we need to do for people to actually hear our voice. We're not doing that. And we wonder why nobody cares about what's happening. And we wonder why politicians are not fighting on our behalf, because we're not putting in politicians who have our best interests at heart.
Well, hold on, Jamie.
Let's go ahead.
Hold on. I gotta kind of disagree a little bit with that. Don't let the media ever confuse that, man. Black people vote, right?
No,
black people really do vote. And what happens is black people vote. I think the problem is we keep putting the same people back in office, right? There's been congressmen who've been in office for as long as I've been alive, right? And I mean, for real, like they serve these lifelong sentences, and what they do is, and I promise you this, and I God, please help this not to come back and bite me in the butt. But they'll vote for one particular party all up and down, and what they don't do, and what we don't do is we don't do a good job of seeing what candidates' platforms are before we vote for them, regardless of party, right? We'll just say, hey, we're just going to vote for this particular party without saying, hey, this guy really, he stands for A, B, or C. You know what I'm saying? Like he's for mass incarceration, or he's for taking away, these particular rights. You don't know, but just because he hides behind that party. I think that we should just do due diligence on all candidates, regardless of party. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that, Eric. But here's the thing. So I've done a lot with voter registration. I've done a lot with working with campaigns for different people, and I've looked at the numbers. 2 election cycles ago, under 300,000 people in the city of Baltimore voted, when there's almost 1 million people registered. And you have people, you have the opportunity to vote, but we're not taking it. The reason why, and I'm gonna say this, the reason why we have the president we have now is because our culture did not go vote.
Fact.
For what though? When you say vote
for our local.
Are you talking about in the general election?
Every election, the local election for your local whoever. If you're in a county, your county executive. If you're in the city, your mayor and your city council. The state election, you're voting for whoever going to be the governor, who's running the state house. Your national election, who will be the president, who's going to be in the Senate. We have to. The first thing that we can do to really start changing and reshaping and reforming our country, and what we march for, man, our grandparents and great grandparents fought for us to have the right to vote, and we take it as an option and not take it as a requirement. And so we are missing the opportunity to pour in the people, because and for legislation to change and for people to hear our voice and have a seat at the table, because we don't do what they look at the most. And when you want to see at the table, they look at people who voted. They looking at people who cast ballots. And I wholeheartedly agree with you. We vote party affiliation and not people who have a purpose. But then the other part I want to say is that there's been a lot of people who say what they want us to hear, and really when they get in office don't do it.
Well,
So
let me say
have
this
to be,
to you.
huh?
You
Go
know,
ahead.
one of the problems that we have, and I can speak for Prince George's County and Washington D.C. down here. The civics has been taken out of the schools, so these young folks who are able to vote really don't know anything about party affiliation or anything about politics in general. They don't know what a mayor, a senator, or governor does for you on a local or national level. So it's kind of hard to get them interested in wanting to take an interest in politics. I'm talking to my son who's 19 years old, and I said, "Hey, did you do your ballot yet?" He says, "Oh, I'm not voting." I'm like, "What do you mean you're not voting? That is a privilege. That is an honor. You have to vote. When you need to vote." So we had a whole conversation about why it's important to vote. But it really starts on these local levels. So since these kids, we are fighting a 50-50 battle because half of our voting registered voting population are these young folks that are between 18 and 21 years old who don't know anything about government at all, about politics at all. So they don't really show a whole lot of interest in voting. And we just have to have this conversation more with these younger folks because they're not teaching in the schools anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, brother, we could talk forever about this. I'm gonna wrap it up. Again, thank each and every one.
Hey, before you, hey brother, can I get one word in, one quick before you end it?
Yeah.
I just wanted to quote something. I don't know what verse it is specifically, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's in the Bible. It said, "My people die from lack of vision." That's what I remember. Another one said, "Faith without works is dead." Uh, we need direction. We need a plan of action. Instead of running around the circle chasing our tails, we need a plan of action, a definitive plan of action, and we need to execute. And that's why I do not feel like we've been doing as a whole as community.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Listen, we could talk about this all night long. Thank you all again for your time. I appreciate you, brothers. Thank you all for joining. We want to make sure everybody, Phil, Eric, Greg, all of you all, I appreciate Daryl, I appreciate you all. I want you all to have an amazing week. Enjoy yourself this weekend. I ain't planning date night this week. I did good last week. It's on her this week.
Yes, sir. You did great, sir.
Hey, what's up? Love y'all, brothers. Hopefully all of y'all are blessed. I hope everybody has an amazing week. We'll get at you soon. Talk to you.
All right.
You too.
Peace and love.